getting ready to start. We're saddling back up and riding our Lakers horse here. I don't know that there's ever a bad time to take 80-some-odd million dollars in guaranteed money, but why now for LeBron?
It kind of follows the same playbook, Scott, that he had back in 2016. He wins the championship with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He submits his commitment and loyalty to the franchise because that gave him everything he wants out of his NBA experience, being able to put his body, his mind, his family through an NBA season in order to get the ultimate prize of winning a championship and, validating his existence, trying to strive for greatness for the greatest of all time. He did this again here, win the championship with the Lakers. Why did he have to think about going anywhere else? And of course, the other caveat, just last year we were talking about him being in his mid-30s, missing the playoffs, having the biggest injury of his career. Well, this actually guards against some of that, gives him an extra year of guaranteed money. $85 million, not a bad payday.
Well, the ultimate thing, I think, for LeBron, and he spoke of it, is maybe someday teaming up with his son. Now, look, Bronny, who knows if he's going to be an NBA talent, if he's an NBA talent. We don't know that yet. But if we do the math here, Dave, you don't have to squint to see what it would be. Free agency sets up around the time, presumably, Bronny could be heading to the NBA. Is it reasonable to connect those dots?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, think about it. LeBron put it out there in the 2017 finals that the greatest accomplishment of his career would be someday playing alongside his son in the NBA. This contract ends in 2023 at the same time that his son, Bronny, is slated to graduate from high school. Now, right now, with the current CBA, Bronny couldn't come right from high school to the NBA. But who knows if the CBA will have adjustments between now and then. And certainly, even if Bronny is not necessarily an outright lottery pick, if he's a borderline guy who you think could help your franchise potentially, while also be a guy who brings the gravitational pull of his father, who's one of the greatest players of all time, that's a real possibility.
Sure it is. And I think it's reasonable, given the type of fitness and commitment to fitness, Dave, that LeBron has shown, to say, even like to a degree like Brady, even if his age starts with a 4, I think in LeBron's case, it's almost, he's got a little Benjamin Button quality. I think it's reasonable to think he could play competitively at that stage. Do you?
I think so. And obviously, we just talked about that nearly season-ruining injury a year ago with the groin tear. But listen, I mean, this will take him through 20 seasons in the league. He'll be just shy of his 39th birthday. Who's to say he could play 2, 3, 4 more years at that point? He's already pushed the envelope so far already. I wouldn't put anything past him. And certainly if he has that carrot of the motivating factor of playing alongside his son, that's enough to probably get himself to do those extra 3-a-day workouts in the offseason. Man,
that's a hell of a lot of pressure on a young man named after his dad to be just good enough. You don't have to be as good as your dad. You just got to be good enough to play in the same league as him. We'll see if he's able to fulfill that promise, Dave. As always, appreciate the time. Be good, man. Texas against Carolina. Major trade in the NBA. Quite a headline anyway. Rockets have agreed to trade Russell Westbrook to Washington for John Wall and a protected first in 2023. Wall hasn't played since the day after Christmas of 2018 and has 3 years and more than $132 million left on his contract. Westbrook joins a Wizards team built around Bradley Beal, who averaged the second most points in the NBA last season and yet somehow is still woefully underrepresented in terms of all NBA teams in my estimation. Washington also has a sharpshooter, Davis Bertans, who got paid, was coveted this offseason. Lottery picks in the last couple of years, including Denny Avdia. Steve, do you think it's a playoff team?
Yes.
I agree. Part of it's the East, but...
Correct.
As for Houston, John Wall reunites with DeMarcus Cousins after they played together at Kentucky. Speaking of reunites, Westbrook gets back together with Scott Brooks, who was with in OKC. Be interesting to see how the game meshes with Harden, who became the first player since Michael Jordan to average 30 in 3 consecutive seasons. Adrian Wojnarowski, who blew up our rundown with his tweet about this news, joins us now. My guy Jeff and all of his Wizard buddy fans here in D.C. are bumming to see Wall, a perennial all-star, leave town. But Woj, he's a guy coming off an Achilles, and explosiveness was his calling card. What does Houston think they're getting in Wall?
Well, they think they're getting a player who wants to be with the Rockets and who has shown in the months since has been working out this summer, that he's got some explosion back. He's expanded his game. He's shooting a three-pointer well with all of this time off. But listen, this was a trade of two players on two teams who wanted to go in the other direction. Russell Westbrook wanted to be in Washington, reunited with Scotty Brooks, play with Brad Beal. And John Wall wanted to play with James Harden, wanted to go to Houston. And finally, they got that deal done this afternoon. The two general managers hadn't talked in weeks. And Russell Westbrook's agent, Thad Fouché, really got them talking today. And then within a few hours, they had a deal.
Well, as you know better than anybody, if the right deal comes along, anything can happen. But can we mostly assume that this means Harden remains in Houston for the time and Beal remains in Washington for the time?
Yeah, our Tim McMahon was reporting today that Houston stance has not changed. They expect to play through here with James Harden. They don't want to trade him. And I think they have more of a cushion to work with than Washington does because Beal's free agency comes up sooner. But the hope in Houston is that Wall can, regain some of his old form, that those two can find a chemistry, and that James Harden, starts to think again about wanting to stay longer term with the Rockets. But right now, they plan to certainly start the season with James Harden and John Wall as their backcourt.
Adrian Wojnarowski, the best, as always. Thank you.
On Ravens Steelers currently going on.
Naturally on a Wednesday evening.
Welcome to Sports Center. We're going to begin, of course, with the NBA.
Yeah, a new season is upon us. Surprise, surprise. The league's four-time MVP has a new contract. It is a 2-year extension, so big picture here is exactly what it means. Let's start with the fact that LeBron James is now guaranteed to be in the purple and gold for the next 3 seasons. That is through the 2023 season, and it does not include a player option. So, good news for you Lakers fans. His running mate, Anthony Davis, is still a free agent, but it's widely believed that he's just deciding on the length of his contract, and then he's expected to return to the Lakers. AD can receive a starting salary at 35% of the cap in 2 years, as opposed to just 30% this season. And don't forget that LeBron's son, Bronny, he's scheduled to graduate from high school in 2023. Yeah, that's the same year LeBron's new deal expires, so we'll see if he sticks around after this latest extension comes to an end. Now, to dive deeper into the financial aspect of LeBron's entire new deal, here's what it looks like. He was already scheduled to make over $39 million this season, and the extension replaces a player option he had for next summer when he could have opted out and become a free agent. So when this ends, LeBron will be 38 years old, making almost $45 million in the last year of his new deal. As for the new season set to begin December 22nd, LeBron was asked about this season's team on Richard Jefferson's podcast.
Can you all repeat?
We can. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, we absolutely can. Like RJ said with the Nets, first of all, it all starts with health.
Yeah.
You have to have some luck, and you have to have health. If we can stay healthy, but we did get younger. We got the 27-year-old point guard. We got the 27-year-old Sixth Man of the Year award in Trez. We got younger.
With Mark.
We got Mark, who's the Defensive Player of the Year, and his IQ not only playing against him in the NBA, but also playing against him versus Spain national team.
NBA insider Brian Windhorst is live now on SportsCenter with more on this extension. In particular, Brian, the timing of it. So why now? Why did LeBron agree to this extension today?
Well, see, just as LeBron, really for the first time, acting like a guy who's about to turn 36 years old. He's always been aggressive and flexible in his contracts as much as he possibly can be. As you mentioned, he could have been a free agent next year, but instead he is now under contract for as long as the NBA will allow him to be, because there's a rule that you can't be signed for a multi-year deal past age 38. This takes him to age 38. And this is, about insurance. It's about basketball mortality. It's about a guy who had a serious injury for the first time 2 years ago and wants to make sure that everything is locked down. I have to say that I was surprised by the timing of this.
Yeah.
But in talking to LeBron and the people around him, it is clear that he wants to make sure he's protected, and that's why this decision was made.
Yeah, I get it. To your point, he's turning 36 at the end of this month, and he said on the podcast there that they did get younger this offseason. How about Anthony Davis? Still a free agent right now, but expected to stay with the Lakers. So how does LeBron's decision on this extension impact AD's negotiations, if at all?
From what I am told, it is not impacted by at all. That Anthony Davis is on a different wavelength. The Lakers were not going to have flexibility for next summer anyway because LeBron was determined to extend. Now, Anthony Davis has looked at more than 12 different iterations of a contract that he can sign to the Lakers. Not just now, but he's also, I am told, looking at what his next contract would look like, whether it's smart to be a free agent in 2 years or in 4 years. This is more complicated than I think it may be.